Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cherry the Geek TV. I'm Joe Vanourney. Today we are joined by Marko Zaror. You know him from movies like Fight or Flight, The Killer's Game, The Fist of the Condor, and of course John Wick Chapter 4. He now stars in a brand new action thriller called Affinity, which is debuting on digital on September 30th. Marco, welcome to Cherry the Geek TV.
Hey, thanks for the invite, man.
Tell people about Affinity. Set the film up for people. What's the premise of the film?
Well, Affinity started from the question of with the technology and the AI and the science evolving, that we're kind of playing God, you know. What would happen? Are we going to be able to replicate or to create affinity between two human beings, right? Can we replace, we clearly can make a robot that looks like a human, in maybe 10 years, that's going to happen, right? It's going to be exactly same. We're not going to be, maybe we're not going to be able to identify, right? We can clone, they're cloning, and it's getting to a point that is kind of scary, right? So are we going to be able to replicate the experience, the feelings that maybe two human beings feel? And then if this guy is gone, can I replicate him, right? And then create the same emotional connection? And that's the premise of this movie, and that's what's the motivation of making this movie. And it's about my character Bruno. He has a dark past, like a trauma. He lives in Thailand with his friends, and then he meets this girl, and then they fall in love. But then this girl has another, like a little secret story, dark past, whatever. And then he just goes in the search for her to recover, to understands like there's a big mystery with her. And well, okay, I don't want to spoil it, but that's when then the audience will be presented with that question at the end of the movie. And that's exactly what motivated me to make this movie and to write this script and this story.
So you play Bruno in the film. What attracted you to this character, and what attracted you to this particular story?
Well, that's exactly what I said. It's like for me, it was in this one, I wrote the script, I produced it, it was my project. So I wanted to touch that theme in an action movie. So I wanted to grab that idea and bring home like the movies that I like, the influences, like that suspense, that atmosphere of the different layers. Like maybe you're seeing something that is not really what you really think. So like what we see in Asian cinema, like Mike's cinema, like the movie Audition that I really like, or like David Lynch kind of atmospheres. When you're watching his movies and there's something off, but you just don't know why. You feel weird when you're looking at this thing, and this kind of atmosphere I love. I love how you can create that, with the different cinematic elements, right? And then, of course, the action, like the Taken movie, where we're driving the story from the character, the lead character, right? The audience only sees what the lead character sees, so they're in the ride with him, and they're discovering the story and the movie with the main character at the same time. So that was like my motivation to make this movie, happen.
Brandon Slagle's the director of the film. Talk about working with him. What qualities does he have as a director that helped enhance the making of Affinity?
Yeah, well, he put together a really good team in Thailand. He introduced me to Nicolo, a DP, the DP that we work after that. We work in Diablo together, and he's an amazing DP because also martial artist and very good. He was able to bring a Lewis too. Lewis, was a perfect role for Joe. we connect right away. And of course, he helped me with my performance on the set. So he was able to put the pieces together to make the my vision happen. Like I had this vision, I wanted to do the movie a certain way, and then he brought the different elements to make it happen.
What was the biggest challenge in making Affinity? Was there a particular scene or a particular day that was more challenging than others, and why? And on the opposite end of the spectrum, was there a day or a scene that you thought going in was going to be a very difficult day, and at the end you were like, "Oh, this went way better than we thought it was going to be," and this turned out to be a very pleasant surprise.
Well, to be honest, it's like every day was hard, because it was a challenging time, like when you're rushing on time and you want to get to the scenes and get to you're in a tight schedule. So, but the fights are always tough because physically they're very demanding and you just don't have a chance to take a break. You know what I'm saying? It's like, or you do it or the scene is not gonna be the same. Like, so I always approach this like a shooting as a Olympic game. So I train and I prepare myself with nutrition and with training, so I arrive to the set and I can perform to like the movie depends on my conditioning. If I get tired, and then the fight, instead of being 3 minutes, is going to be 1 minute, basically, right? So you don't have the opportunity to continue other days, right? So that's very challenging when you're shooting these type of films.
I'm curious, you've done all kinds of films at different levels, right? You've done lower budget films, you've done mid-budget films. The other end of the spectrum, you have your John Wick Chapter 4, which I'm assuming is probably the biggest budget film that you've been a part of. As a stunt man, as a martial artist, as an actor, is there a difference when you have these different budgets? Like, is it easier when you have a big budget, like on something like John Wick, versus when there's a lower budget in terms of setups and in terms of, I mean, I know there's probably a difference in craft service tables, probably a lot
Yeah,
nicer
of course, of
on
course.
John Wick, but as a process, a filmmaking process for you as a fighter and choreographing these scenes.
Yeah.
Tell people like the layperson what the difference is when you have like a
Well,
lower
the
budget.
language is the same. The codes are all the same. The difference is for I'll say for performance is easier and better, when you're in a big movie because you have a great team and you just need to focus on your job, right? You just focus on what you have to do as an actor. You have an amazing team making sure everything is taken care of. When you're doing a lower budget movie, you kind of have to wear many hats, and then you have the pressure of the time. Well, in the big movie also, they're always going, they're always fighting with time, and that's something common in every movie, right? But I think, when you're doing these independent films, more smaller films, it's like you just get what you get. Like if you don't accomplish the day, then you're gonna have these pressures like, man, this scene could be so much better. So that puts a pressure so hard. In a big movie, you're working like John Wick, you're working with the best of the best, right? So you just relax a little bit and you just do your job. You just focus on your job so you can focus on your performance more. You can focus on, you know, and because you know that everything is going to be taken care of, and they're going to make sure the thing looks the best. And if they need to go a little longer, there's a bigger chance that they're going to maybe get another day to finish the scene, so you don't feel all that pressure in your shoulders. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's I will say that's like the biggest difference as a performer. Like, you feel support and everybody, is the best of the best, right? So yeah.
I'm curious about your background, how you got started. Were you a martial artist first and you were at the right place at the right time and kind of stumbled your way into the movie business, or was the dream always to be an actor and then you learn martial arts as a way in, or as a like this. I'm gonna have a special set of skills that will make me more hireable than the other guy. Tell
No,
me
no,
about your
yeah,
strategy.
I started as an athlete. I trained martial arts since I'm a kid, and that, I got the opportunity to become, an actor and express myself as a martial artist in the big screen. But of course, everything started as a martial artist.
When you were growing up, was there a actor or an action star that influenced you growing up? Was there a
Yeah,
movie, a performance?
yeah,
Talk about
that's Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee was the one that really, inspired me. His energy, his charisma was so powerful when I saw it that I was like, oh my God, I need to be, this is, it woke up something in me that never stops. Since I'm telling you, that was when I was like 6 or 7 years old. And from that day, it was, so powerful, so powerful.
Uh, we're almost out of time. Before we go, I want to ask you about the state of the action movie in terms of studio films, right? It seems like when I was growing up in the 80s and the 90s, uh, the studios were cultivating these action stars, right? You had your big guys like Stallone and Schwarzenegger and Bruce Willis, but they were also these mid-sized films, like people like Steven Seagal were getting contracts with Warner Brothers and Jean-Claude Van Damme and Jeff Speakman got signed for Paramount, and those films just kind of in the mid '90s just went away.
Mm.
Why do you think that is, and why do you think the studios aren't? I mean, John Wick started as an independent movie that just kind of
Yeah.
blew up, and that now Lionsgate has an action franchise, but that was even an independent film going in. So
Yeah.
what do you think it is studios are shying away from action films?
Well, it's a very complex question, man. I don't know, but to be honest, I feel and I believe that now the action move up to the big leagues. Because now if you realize before, if you see any big movie or superhero movie or whatever movie, there were no fighting or martial arts. The fighting was very bad, right? Not well delivered, right? Shaky camera, you didn't understand what's going on, and the people was like, they're fighting, right? But now, in every movie that you see a fight, even if a comedy or whatever type of movie, you see a good action piece. You see a good fight, right? And you're seeing this in big studio movies. Like you see all the superhero movies now, when you see them fight, you see cool choreography. You see cool action scenes that they will belong to that smaller back in the day movie like what you just mentioned, right? So I think now because we're seeing it in these big movies, maybe that's why it's harder for people just to go and see a smaller movie only with that. You know what I'm saying? So I think now the bigger movies adapt or took that genre and added into their kind of scenes or stories or whatever. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud because I can see the evolution of the type of action we see in big studio movies now, you know. And this is not too long ago. Like it's not too long ago where you're seeing big movies like, like superhero movies and they're doing a fight scene and we're like, oh my God, this is so bad, right? It's like why they don't do it right if they have all the resources and everything, right? And then, but now you're seeing good stuff in the big movies. So maybe that's one thing. I don't know. Maybe that's one thing. Yeah,
Well, when I
maybe.
watch your films, it's good. I get that sense of that I had in the 80s and the 90s watching a good action film. You can see the movies Affinity. This is one of those types of films. Affinity's debuts on digital September 30th. Marco, thank you so much for chatting with us today on Cherry the Geek TV.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it, man.